Good morning, one and all. Today we are going to discuss about the problem that will be related to dynamics of a synchronous mission and also the power flow under steady state conditions. Okay, in the previous class we discussed about the dynamics of a synchronous mission and also the swing equation. Okay, by using that formulas we will observe the problem, that is F60 Hz 4-pole turbo generator rated 100 MVA. Okay, therefore F is equal to 60 Hz and P is equal to 4 and generator rated at 100 MVA and 13.8 kV has a inertia constant of 10 mJ per MVA. Okay, therefore find stored energy in the rotor at the synchronous speed. Okay, therefore we will calculate the how much amount of energy that is stored in the rotor at a synchronous speed ns. Okay, therefore if the input to the generator is suddenly rise to 60 megawatts, therefore the input of this generator, the turbo generator, is generally rise to the 60 megawatts for an electrical load of 50 megawatts. Okay, find the rotor acceleration and also we calculate the rotor acceleration. Okay, next one, if the rotor acceleration calculated, okay, it is maintained for 12 cycles. Okay, find the change in the torque angle and the rotor speed in RPM. Okay, at the end of this period. Next, the another generator 150 MVA. Okay, therefore we are considering another generator. Okay, it having 150 MVA. Therefore, the inertia constant is 4 megajoules per MVA is put in parallel with the above generator. Next, find the inertia constant for equivalent generator on the base of a 50 MVA. First of all, what is the first bit? That is the stored energy, that is equal to the formula for determining the stored energy or the kinetic energy. Okay, that will be equal to G into H. Okay, that will be equal to G into H. Okay, this is the rating of the generator. G means the rating of the generator and H is the inertia constant, that is mJ per MVA. Okay, therefore the stored energy is equal to 1000 megajoules. Okay, next, what is the second bit? That is, what is the second bit? The rotor acceleration. Next, we find the rotor acceleration. Okay, what is the rotor acceleration? Okay, if the input generator is raised to 60 megawatts, okay, therefore, and the electrical load, okay, therefore, input mission, that is the that will be increased to 60 megawatts. Then therefore we are considering Pi is equal to the 60 megawatts and also the electrical input that will be considered, that is equal to the PE. Okay, therefore the electrical input that will be equal to the PE, that is equal to 50 megawatts. Okay, therefore we are considering that alternator. Okay, then this alternator having the two powers or the two torques, that is the Pi and the Pe. Okay, in between these two powers, okay, we are having the swing equation or the swinging torque that will be obtained. This is Ti and the Te. Okay, in between this, we are obtaining the swinging torque. Okay, therefore we are calculating, that is Pi is equal to, okay, therefore Pi is equal to Pi, that is the input power minus the electrical input, Pi minus P. Okay, then this will be equal to 60 minus 50, 60 minus 50, therefore that is 100 megawatts, therefore that is 100 megawatts. Okay, next we calculate the M. Okay, if it is maintained for 12 cycles, find the change in that rotor angle. That means first we calculate that M. Okay, M is equal to the GH by 180 F omega F. Normally, that is M is equal to GH by omega F. Okay, this is the formula that will be observed in the previous class, that is GH by omega F. In this case, omega is equal to the acceleration angle, that is 180 degrees. Okay, we are substituting omega is equal to 180. Okay, therefore M is equal to GH by 180 into F, where F is the supply frequency, where F is the supply frequency. Next, we are calculating that will be equal to G is equal to the 100 and H is equal to 10. Okay, we are substituting G is equal to the 100 and H is equal to the 10, and 180 into F is the supply frequency, that will be equal to 60. Therefore, it is equal to 5 by 54 megajoules per second electrical degrees. Megajoules per second electrical degrees. Then we are calculating the delta angle. How we will be calculated that delta? Okay, that means the delta means the acceleration angle or rotor acceleration. Okay, therefore, in the second bit also we are calculating the rotor acceleration. Therefore, what is the rotor acceleration? That is delta. Okay, that is delta. Therefore, m into d square delta by dt square. Therefore, m into d square delta by dt square is equal to PA, and it will be equal to PI minus P. Okay, in the previous case, PI minus PE we are calculated, that is equal to 10 megawatts. Okay, we are substituting PA value and M value in this equation, and then we easily derive the rotor acceleration angle. Okay, therefore, M is equal to, what is the M value? That is 5 by 54. Okay, we are substituting M is equal to 5 by 54 into d square delta by dt square. D square delta by dt square is equal to PA. Okay, what is the PA value? That is 10 megawatts. Okay, what is the PA value? That is 10 megawatts. Next, consider d square delta by dt square. Okay, that will be equal to 10 into 54 by 5. Okay, therefore, this value is equal to 180 electrical degree per second square. Therefore, its value is 180 electrical degree per second square. Okay, in this case, alpha is the acceleration, delta is the acceleration, that will be equal to 180 electrical degrees. Okay, understand? 108 electrical degrees. Okay, next, what is the third bit? If the rotor acceleration calculated in the part B, okay, this is the rotor acceleration, that is the alpha or the delta, okay, is maintained for 12 cycles. Okay, for up to 12 cycles, we are maintaining this same rotor acceleration angle. Therefore, find the change in the torque angle. Therefore, find the change in the torque angle and the rotor speed in RPM at the end of this period. Okay, therefore 12 cycles means 12 by 60, then we obtain that is 0.2 seconds. Therefore, change in the delta, we calculate the how much amount of the acceleration factor that will be changed. That means change in the delta is equal to 1 by 2 into alpha into delta t, where alpha is the acceleration angle, that is 108. Okay, we are substituting alpha value is equal to 108, that already calculated in the previous slide. Okay, that is 1 by 2 into 108 into delta t. Delta t means the time. Okay, therefore, cycles will be converted into the time, then it will be 0.2 seconds. Then it will be 0.2 seconds. Okay, we are substituting, that is delta t is equal to 0.2. Then that will be equal to 2.16 electrical degrees. 2.16 electrical degrees. Okay, now we calculate alpha in RPM per second. Okay, this is the electrical degrees, that will be converted into the RPM. We are multiplying with 60. 60 by 360 degrees. 60 by 360 degrees. Electrical degrees, that is 360. Then second square means we are converting into the seconds. That's why we are multiplying with the 60. 60 gets cancelled to that square, and electrical degrees is converted into the RPM by dividing the 360 degrees. Okay, therefore, this electrical degree per second square, that will be converted into the RPM per second. First, this will be converted into the electrical degrees per second, that is 108 into 60. Therefore, its units is electrical degrees per second. Electrical degrees per second. Therefore, this will be converted into the RPM value, that is 108 by 360 degrees into 60. 108 by 360 degrees into 60. Therefore, its value is RPM per second. Therefore, its units is RPM per second. Then the rotor speed at the end of the 12 cycles. Then we calculate the rotor speed at the end of the 12 cycles. Okay, therefore 120 F by P plus alpha into delta T, where F is the supply frequency, that is 60, and P is equal to the number of poles, that will be equal to 4, plus alpha. Okay, what is the alpha value in RPM per second? That is 18. That is 18. Okay, 18 into, what is the delta T? That is the 12 cycles, that will be converted into the seconds, that is 0.2 seconds. Okay, we are substituting, its value is 0.2. Then it will be equal to 1803.6 RPM. Then it will be equal to 1803.6 RPM. Okay, this is the C bit. Next, we are calculating the D bit. What is the D bit? The another generator 150 MVA having inertia constant, that is 4 megajoules per MVA, is put in the parallel with the above generator. Okay, find the inertia constant of equal generator and the base of a 50 MVA. Therefore, both will be connected in parallel. Then we are calculating that H equivalent. Okay, therefore H equivalent is equal to, connected in parallel means, therefore H equivalent is equal to H1 G1 by GB plus H2 G2 by GB. GB is the base value that will be given in the question in the fourth bit, that is 50. Where H1 is equal to 10. That is H1 is equal to the 10. How it will be considered? It will be 10. 10 inertia constant is 10. And in this bit, we are having the inertia constant is 4. Okay, therefore H2 is equal to the 4. Okay, and then G is already given in the question, that is 100 in the first consideration. In the fourth bit, we are having the 150. Therefore, G2 is equal to 150. Therefore, this will be there 150. Another generator has 150 MVA. And in the previous case, that is the generator one having the rating is turbo generator rated is 100 MVA. Okay, therefore this is the G1 value, and this is the G2 value, and this is the H1 value, and this is the H2 value, and this is the base of that generator, and this is the base of that generator, that is 50 MVA. Okay, therefore we are substituting H1 is equal to 10 into G1 is the 100 by base is the 50 plus H2 is the 4 into G2 is the 150 by 50. Then we calculate the H equivalent, that is 30 mJ per MVA. 30 mJ per MVA. Okay, this is the procedure for calculating the acceleration and inertia constants, and also the equivalent inertia constant for the turbo generators. Okay, understand now? This is the problem that will be related to the dynamics of a synchronous generators. Okay, next, coming to the next derivation, that is the power flow under steady state conditions. Okay, this is the short transmission line Okay, this is the sending end voltage Vs and this is the receiving end voltage Vr. In this case, we are considering that is the reactance. Okay, this is the X is the transmission line reactance. Okay, consider a short transmission line with a negligible resistance. Okay, in the case of a short transmission line, only we are considering the resistance and the reactance values. The capacitance is negligible. Why? Because the capacitance is negligible for the short transmission line. Therefore, the length of the line will be reduced. Then the capacitance value that will be negligible. Therefore, it is not considered for in the case of a short transmission line. Only we are representing the resistance and the reactance values. But in this case, we are assuming that resistance value is negligible. Therefore, in the short transmission line, only we are considering the reactance value, that is Jx. Only the reactance value, that is the Jx. Therefore, Vs is equal to per phase sending end voltage and Vr is equal to the per phase receiving end voltage, and therefore Vs leads the Vr by an angle of delta. Okay, therefore normally the Vs leads the Vr, okay, by an angle of delta. Okay, then therefore X is the reactance for the transmission line. Okay, therefore we are considering X is equal to reactance for the transmission line. Therefore, normally what is the formula for power? Therefore, power, that is S. S is equal to, normally the power is equal to the S. Therefore, S is equal to the active power, that is the PS plus JQS. Sending end side, therefore then that will be considered, that is the SS. Real power is equal to apparent power plus reactive power. That is PS plus JQS, that will be referred to sending end. That's why we are considering that is the S. SS is equal to PS plus JQS. Otherwise, this can be written as VS into I. VS into I, voltage into current. Therefore, the power formula is voltage into current. Okay, therefore, normally I is equal to Vs minus Vr by Jx. Okay, normally, what is the current, input current, that is sending end voltage minus receiving end voltage by, only in this case, we are considering that is the reactance. Okay, that's why by Jx. Okay, normally what is the formula for I? I equal to V by R. According to the Ohm's law, I is equal to V by R. Okay, from the previous figure that will be observed, by using that previous figure, what is the current I? I is equal to Vs minus Vr by Jx. Why? Because the resistance value is negligible. Okay, that's why only we are considering the reactance value, that is the Jx. Therefore, we are conjugating both sides, that is I conjugate is equal to Vs conjugate minus Vr conjugate. Therefore, J conjugate means we are considering as the minus J. J conjugate means we are considering that is the minus J. Okay, therefore, from these two equations, we write down the SS. Okay, that is SS is equal to, what is the formula for power, that is referred to the sending end voltage, that is SS is equal to Vs into sending end voltage into current. Sending end voltage into I conjugate. Therefore, we already calculate that I conjugate value, that is Vs conjugate minus Vr conjugate by minus Jx. Okay, substitute this I value is Vs conjugate minus Vr conjugate by minus Jx. Okay, in this equation, then we obtain SS is equal to Vs into Vs conjugate minus Vr conjugate by minus Jx. Okay, clear, ma? Next, normally Vr is equal to Vr at an angle of 0 degrees and Vr is equal to Vr conjugate. Therefore, Vs is equal to Vs at an angle of delta degrees. Okay, then this will be considered as Vs e power j delta. Okay, therefore, from the first equation, SS is equal to PS plus JQS, and then we substitute, okay, formula for PS, that will be equal to Vs Vr by X sine delta plus Qs is the Vs minus Vs square minus Vs Vr cos delta by x. Okay, therefore we are common the 1 by x term in this equation, then it will be considered as Vs square minus Vs Vr cos delta. Okay, therefore the formulas for active power and the reactive power, that is PS. Okay, therefore PS is equal to Vs Vr by x sin delta. Qs is equal to Vs square minus Vs Vr cos delta by x. Okay, therefore the receiving end power, similarly this is the sending end power, and then the receiving end power, that is SR. Therefore SR is equal to PR plus JQR. Therefore SR is equal to the PR plus JQR. Then this will be equal to VR into I conjugate. Then this will be equal to VR into I conjugate. Similarly, we are substituting, that is QR is equal to VS VR cos delta minus VR square by x, and PR is equal to Vs Vr by x sin delta. Okay, therefore for power loss transmission line, sending end power is equal to the receiving end power. Okay, in a similar manner, the equation for steady state, power delivered by a lossless synchronous mission. Okay, therefore the power delivered by a lossless synchronous mission, that will be equal to P is equal to PD. That will be equal to P is equal to PD. Okay, normally the sending end power is equal to the receiving end power. For a lossless transmission line, the sending end power is equal to the receiving end power. Okay, therefore P is equal to the PD, that is Eg Vt by Xd sin delta. Therefore, in this equation, Eg Vt by Xd, that will be equal to the P max. Okay, that will be equal to the maximum power, that is the P max. Okay, therefore P is equal to the P max into sin delta. P is equal to P max into sin delta. Where Eg is the RMS internal voltage. Okay, in this case, what is the Eg value? Therefore, Eg is equal to the RMS voltage. And what is the Vt value? That is the terminal voltage. And Xg is the direct axis reactance or synchronous reactance in the round rotor mission. And delta is the electrical power angle. And delta is the electrical power angle. Okay, understand ma? These are the various terms for calculating that PS and the PR. For a loss-free transmission line, the sending end power is equal to the receiving end power. Okay, therefore, PE is equal to PD is equal to the Eg Vt by Xd into sin delta. This total will be considered as, that is the maximum power. When we are calculating that maximum power, what is the formula? That is Eg Vt by Xt. Okay, therefore, in this equation, what is the Eg? Eg is the RMS internal voltage and Vt is the RMS terminal voltage and Xd is the direct axis reactance or the synchronous reactance in the round rotor mission. Okay, and delta is the electrical power angle. Okay, understand ma? And delta is the electrical power angle. Okay, clear? Okay, this is the formula for power flow studies for a single transmission line. So this is the derivation for the power flow studies of a steady state. That is P max into sin delta, where P max is the Eg Vt by Xt. P max is equal to Eg Vt by Xt, where Eg is the internal voltage and Vt is the terminal voltage and Xt is the direct axis reactance. And also delta is the electrical power angle. Okay, clear? Okay, thank you. We continue in the next class.